Karl, would you mind peeling these potatoes? I'm going to need them in a minute. So
Potatoes?
chop, chop. Yes, chop,
I
chop.
thought we were doing rice.
Yes, rice potatoes.
Well, I'm actually more of a thinker than a peeler.
Well, I have every confidence that you can think and peel at the same time.
Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of One Chef One Critic. I'm Karl Wells, food critic for The Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
Well, Steve, since you enjoy peeling so much,
Indeed I do.
or having other people peel for you,
Exactly.
why don't you tell the folks an easy way to peel garlic?
Okay, Karl, I certainly will. What I do, I just took a bulb of garlic like so, then I'm just going to crush it with a container like this, very quickly, and then we just pop it into a Ziploc bag.
Ziploc container.
Container, correct. I was just testing you. And then we'll just shake it. And then, as you can see, it's all come apart, look, like so.
Oh, the peel sort of dropped off, as if by magic.
As if by magic.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, that's great. By the way, few little things I learned about garlic. It's really good for your heart. Mm-hmm. It's great for boosting your immune system as well. So good all around. I put garlic in loads and loads and loads of things. Coming up on the program today, our guest is Bonnie Edgecombe. Bonnie is the founder of Abbyshot, which is a specialty clothing company based here in St. John's. Lots of interesting things to learn about Abbyshot. And what will we be preparing with Bonnie?
We'll be preparing a beautiful pork stir fry.
Ah. And we have a chef, Erin Sulley, with us today. Of course, the Rogers TV host, and Erin's going to be baking us a lemon tart with chocolate. So stay tuned. For a complete listing of One Chef One Critic recipes, wine lists, and more, check out our website. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600. And it's definitely our pleasure to welcome Bonnie Edgecombe to One Chef, One Critic. Bonnie with Abbyshot Clothing, the founder, no less. So, what are we going to be cooking with the founder?
Well, Bonnie, what we're going to be preparing today is a sweet and spicy pork stir fry. So, just take a little bit of time, so I guess we'll get started. And Karl, I want you to cook some rice with a little bit of wild rice in there as well, please.
Okay, it would be my pleasure.
Perfect. So I've got the pan nice and hot. I'll just put a little bit of olive oil into there. And I'm going to get Karl to turn the stove up a little bit as well afterwards. And I'll put this in. I'm going to get you to stir it a bit.
Okay.
And I've rubbed that in a little bit of paprika as well.
Okay.
So we're going to get that going, and then afterwards we will add some of our vegetables to it.
So Bonnie, why don't you tell us a little bit about this awesome adventure that you're on with Abbyshot? Explain what Abbyshot is.
Well, we make recreations of movie clothing, and we ship all over the world. We're shipping to about 53 different countries, and we've got some really exciting products on the go. We get to help people dress up and feel their inner hero.
Feel their inner hero, I like that, yeah. So how did you come up exactly with the idea and the name for Abbyshot?
Interesting story about Abbyshot. There was a movie producer many years ago. His name was Abby Singer. And when he was filming, he would say, okay, this is going to be the last shot for the day. But it never was. His team would start packing up and getting ready to go home, but he'd always say, no, we're going to have to shoot that again. So in the film industry, it became known as the Abbyshot.
Oh, okay.
So we figure we're getting a second last shot at the at the coats and things that have been in the movies.
See, I see where you're coming from with that. Yeah. I actually recognize that name, Abby Singer.
Yes.
What would he have produced?
He was very well known in the trade for filming and teaching as well. Mm-hmm. Once we got an email that was all written in lowercase.
Okay.
And it said, "My name is Abby Singer. You called your company after me, after one of my words."
Yeah.
And so my staff said, oh, that's probably some child that wrote that.
Yeah.
So about 2 weeks later, I was driving home and I said, I need to call that phone number that he left on his email. And I called and I said, hello, is Abby Singer there, please? And he said, this is he. He was 91 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And we had a great conversation, and he was telling me how he still goes to the university to help, at that time, to help with teaching people about filming.
Wow,
So it was
that's
so
lovely,
nice.
lovely, lovely story. Yeah.
Well, that's going to be perfect, actually, this far, actually.
Okay.
But I'm going to take that off. And Karl, if I can get you to turn it up really high now. If you
Turn it
wouldn't
up really high, okay. Now, when you started out, you were actually working out of your home making costumes, were you not?
Yes.
And selling them locally.
Yes, yes, for a lot of the dance schools and choral groups,
Yeah.
different Halloween costumes and things. It was a lot of fun.
Any that we'd know?
Well, Newfoundland Symphony Youth Choir, it was called then.
Now it's called Shalloway.
It's Shalloway now, yes, yes. We made quite a few. My daughter and I were working together when we were making those.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And a friend at one point, yes.
There we go.
Okay.
So did you always like to make clothing? Did you make your own clothing when you were growing up?
I
or-
did. I had a machine when I was really young that was my mom's, and it was always an interest of mine to take something and take a piece of flat fabric and turn it
Yeah.
into something to fit somebody, you know?
Now, you make replicas of costumes that are seen in movies and on television shows. I know it probably all started with Doctor Who, did it? I know you do a lot of Doctor Who costumes.
In the beginning, the first coat we made was the Matrix coat. I don't know if you're familiar with the Matrix.
yeah.
That was the first coat that we made.
Yeah.
And after about, we made
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, exactly, Canadian. And we sold quite a few of those. They were really popular. And then we added a couple of other products that were from that show. And then my staff came to me one day and said, we need to make a Doctor Who coat. And I said, a Doctor Who?
Doctor Who?
So from there, it has just grown into, we have 7 properties now that we bought the licensing agreements for.
Oh, excellent.
And so we have licensing agreements with Sony Pictures, 20th Century Fox, BBC, yes, Defiance, Capcom, and Silent Bob.
Wow, that's impressive. So you just started out locally, and now I guess your customer base is international.
Yes, it
You
is.
must ship all over the world.
Well, you know, the world is your oyster in the world, in the business that's an internet, you know. You can do anything from anywhere, really.
So people look you up online,
Yes.
and I presume they see pictures of your various costumes,
Yes.
and they just order in their size and PayPal or whatever, and Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle, that's right. That's right. We have
great.
inventory in the U.S., in a warehouse there.
Okay, yeah.
And some in Ireland, Northern Ireland.
Really?
And in Mount Pearl.
Where do most of your customers come from? Is there a particular area?
About
where
65% are from the U.S.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
This looks it's going to be delicious.
Absolutely. Well, what I did in here, Bonnie, I put some orange juice in here, some chili flakes, some fresh ginger, and some chopped jalapeno. I had to be careful that I didn't touch my eyes after I peeled those as well. And to sweeten it up a bit, I put some honey in there as well.
Okay.
So the contrast between the honey and the jalapeno peppers, red pepper flakes, and now with our fresh vegetables, and we put our pork in at the last minute again.
Okay.
I think that's going to really draw the flavours through. Yeah.
So did you ever get any requests, Bonnie, to do costumes for, say, video game characters?
We do one right now, actually.
Oh, okay.
We have a contract with Capcom for the Dante coat.
Oh, really?
And it's a bizarre style coat,
Yeah.
but they really love it. The customers love it.
So do you just make one, or you make multitudes of them?
No, in the beginning we were making one at a time, but we couldn't keep up with the with production in-house. We had several sewers in Mount Pearl. We had over 20 industrial sewing machines, and they were all going, like 8 hours a day.
Really?
But we just couldn't keep up with that. Yes, it was fun actually.
Oh, I bet.
It was really a creative outlet.
It must have been really satisfying to see the company grow, though, and blossom.
It's been the biggest, aside from being a mother, I think it's been the biggest learning curve of my life.
Yeah.
The
It's
business
given me
side
lots
of
of
it, yeah.
opportunities to learn and grow for
Yeah.
sure. for sure. I love it.
Kind of is a little bit like having a child, though, isn't it? Because it's something that, you know, you've created and you've nursed it along. And
We're all
now
kids
it's-
at heart.
Yeah.
I think I liken it to my second family, you know,
Yeah.
because all the staff are
That's
very
right.
close.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're very dedicated. They really love what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, listen, everything's under control. I'm going to pop
Absolutely.
down to the wine cellar and see if we can come up with a nice wine to go with this delicious-looking pork. Okay?
Perfect. That sounds exciting. It's all in Mount Pearl. A lot of it's in
It
Mount
is,
Pearl.
it is, yes.
My hometown, I've got to say that, you see.
Oh, is
so
that
I'm
right?
a town crier, you know, you got
Right,
to...
that's right, that's right, yes. That's an
absolutely.
important position.
Very much so, very much so. Tell that to the mayor.
Exactly.
And it's Greg Winter of Dialogue Wines.
Hello,
How
Karl.
are you, Greg? Nice to see you.
I'm great, Karl. How are you?
Great. Well, we're having a pork stir fry, and it's got a bit of heat to it, so I think you've got your work cut out for you today in selecting a wine.
Yeah, I think you're right, Karl. Spiciness is always difficult, and you have a little bit of heat, a little bit of jalapeno. It can be tricky for a wine pairing. So I think what you need to focus on is going to be something with a little bit of sweetness to kind of offset that spiciness, as well as something that is probably lighter in tannin and not too full-bodied. I've chose 3 wines, and I'll show you the first wine. It's called Nova 7. And what's interesting about Nova 7 is that it's slightly sparkling. It has a fair bit of residual sugar, so it has some nice sweetness to it, but it's very well balanced. The other thing about Nova 7 that you should know is that it's 100% Nova Scotia grapes, which is not all that common. And it's from Benjamin Bridge Winery and retails at the Liquor Corporation here for $25.47.
I'm hearing Benjamin Bridge a lot lately. They must be developing a fairly good name, are they?
They are actually. They're really well known for, Nova 7, which has become a really popular wine in Atlantic Canada. And they're really becoming famous for their champagne style wines.
Right.
World-class sparkling wines are coming out of Nova Scotia, and who knew?
Well, you say this is slightly sparkling, but it's not classified as a sparkling wine,
I
is it?
wouldn't classify it as a sparkling wine. I would say just a slight effervescence. So you will notice the bubble, but it's not prominent like it would be in a glass of sparkling wine or champagne
Right.
or Prosecco.
Okay.
Yeah. The second wine, also staying with that a little bit of a sweetness theme, is called Crazy Life, appropriately named by the label.
Yes, it's got a great label. It's got very retro, 1940s B-movie.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're going to miss it walking past. And this wine, I think, would work with the dish because it has a little bit of an orange zest to pair with that ginger flavor, the sweetness as well. And it's a Rivaner Pinot Grigio blend from Germany, and it's retailing now for a little over $15. And the third wine is Spanish, and it's called Radio Boca. And it's just a fun way of presenting the wine. 100% Tempranillo from Valencia, Spain. And it's got a softness to it. It's all Tempranillo, which is kind of a medium-bodied wine. But this has a little bit of residual sugar in it and very light tannin. So I think that if your guests really would prefer a red wine, this could be a good selection.
Okay. Just quickly, the price points again?
This is a little over $14 at the Liquor Corporation now, $14.19 to be exact.
Okay. Thank you very much, Greg. I'm going to go with the Radio Boca because I think our guest, in fact, does like red wine.
Okay,
Thank
it's
you.
a good thing there's one here.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Now we put our pork back into the stir fry and thicken it up with our dressing of chilies and orange juice and garlic and soya sauce, and away we go. We'll just take the one last wipe of the plate and let's go and join Bonnie and Karl in the dining room.
There we go. Thank you. Nice red wine to go with this beautiful, spicy pork dish. I can't wait to taste this.
Absolutely.
It's delicious. It smells yummy.
It's very tender.
It is indeed, yeah.
I like the mixture of sweetness and
And full of flavor.
And full of flavour.
most.
Correct.
So it's a beautiful dish, very easy to prepare. Great dish for people to do at home in the evening for supper. Bonnie, I'd like to talk to you about the people that work for you. How do you go about finding them? And do you look for people with a certain talent or flair or creativity when you're looking for people to work for Abbey Shot?
We never seem to have to reach outside because we feel that we're forever recruiting.
Really?
When we go places and we're talking about the company, people will tell us, well, I have this skill or that skill. I'm interested in coming to work with you. So they'll send in a resume and we'll get them together and with us at the shop, and then they show us that they're interested, and we've had some wonderful people working with us, I have to say. We've been really blessed.
So are you still hands-on?
We're not sewing in the shop anymore,
okay.
but I'm there, yes, every day, yes.
Yeah.
I have an amazing team.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the replica clothing. That's hard to say. Replica clothing that you've made. Has there been one sort of all-time most popular outfit? An overcoat or a scarf or whatever?
I think it was the second coat that we were doing. It was the Morpheus coat. He was one of the characters in the Matrix movie. And we had a customer who wanted that coat in many different fabrics. It was originally in crocodile leather. We made it for him in a crocodile leather, and he wanted it in a red. And then he requested the coat made in a white lab coat fabric. And we thought, this is a bit different, but we'll try it for him. And after we got it made, we sent it to him. He was overjoyed. And then he told us that he wears this coat to work.
Oh, really?
So one of my staff went on a road trip that year to the States and decided to look up this doctor. He was a very nice man. And they walked into the hospital only to find out he was a gynecologist wearing a Morpheus coat. And he came out. He wasn't expecting Patrick to come. And he came out and shook his hand and said he was so proud of his coat.
Well, that's great.
So it was
where do you get your materials? Because you do use a lot of really good quality materials. So do you import them or do you source them locally?
Yes, when we were sewing them in-house, we were bringing in our fabrics from all different sources. And the leathers, they were mostly coming from the U.S. They were beautiful.
Yeah. Have you met any of the actors who played some of the characters whose costumes you've replicated?
Well, with Doctor Who, there have been 12 doctors, and we've come across probably 3 or 4 of them, I would think, in the period of time that we've been in this business. And so, the doctor changes after so many years.
That's
he
right.
regenerates.
They regenerate.
Yes. So we've met probably 4 of them.
Great.
So through the years,
Yeah.
yes, it's been fun. It's been fun. And we've met Kevin Smith, who is he's Silent Bob.
Yeah.
And he's a great character. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, it's been a lot of fun having you on One Chef, One Critic.
Thank you.
And everything worked out beautifully. I'm glad you like the food. I hope you like the company.
Wonderful company.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bonnie Edgecombe, Abbey Shot. We'll be right back with Erin Sulley, who's going to make a whole bunch of lemon tarts. Well, for those of you who dip into Rogers TV Channel 9 from time to time, and you're dipping in right now, aren't you? No doubt you've seen her face light up the screen on several occasions. But what you didn't know is this well-kept secret. Erin Sulley, Rogers TV host, is also a very fine baker.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction.
And you're here to prove your baking prowess on One Chef, One Critic.
Well, hopefully I can do that justice.
Okay, so
sure
I
you
like
can,
what,
Erin.
actually, I like what I'm seeing right off the bat here.
Absolutely.
Good.
What are you going to be preparing for us?
Lemon chocolate
Perfect.
tarts. It's just really simple ingredients, and that you kind of.
So you start out, this is the beginning of it.
That is the beginning of it. So, I mean, a lot of people make their own pastries, but you can buy them and then obviously just cook them. Once they cool, then it's everything just kind of goes in stages. So once they cool, I melt up some chocolate wafers. So we have some melted here.
And that's the wafers there, is it?
And that's the wafers there.
Yeah.
And then we top it with some lemon.
Is that what they're called? Is that
Lemon
what they're
filling.
called? Wafers?
They're chocolate wafers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. When I heard wafer, I was thinking, what's that, graham wafers? So that's a chocolate wafer.
Yeah, you can eat it
Okay.
as is if you want.
Please try one. Yeah,
Good. Yeah.
But it's great because depending on the occasion, they come out with different colored ones. So you can have red chocolate for Christmas, or
Yeah.
you can do orange for Halloween.
So you melt these down.
We've got them in a bain-marie here.
I guess you can do that with a double boiler on the stove, right?
You can, yes, yeah. So there are a
Okay.
couple of different options there to melt your chocolate. And so then all I do is I actually take a paintbrush.
Look, would you like to show us?
Yeah,
Literally.
Literally take a paintbrush.
Yeah.
And once your chocolate is melted, take your paintbrush and dip it in the chocolate, and
So
then
this is
just
milk
smooth it around.
chocolate, right?
It is milk chocolate. I do use dark chocolate as well. That's really tasty.
I like milk chocolate. So they really are kind of a 50-50 mix of the lemon and the chocolate, aren't they?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
It's
right.
not just chocolate on the top.
No.
Because you're creating a real base of chocolate as well.
That's right. So this is really simple to do. You don't have to be a pro. I'm certainly not a pro, but it looks really good.
Absolutely. And,
hopefully
the
it'll
smell of the
taste
chocolate now, yes, as well.
Lemon tarts are very French. It's
yeah.
a very French pastry.
Yeah, indeed. So once that's all coated nicely, and just try to take it up towards the top a bit, because once you put your lemon in, you want to be able to see a little
the
bit of the
chocolate
chocolate.
that is there,
Yeah. So you just paint that in, and you can either just leave it there and let it settle. I normally put it in the fridge and let it chill a little bit and set.
So can you like buy a commercial pie filling?
This
Or-
I do only because it goes back to my family.
Okay.
My family's always
Share
used
us.
share exactly.
That's the best
It
one.
is the best, and it's the only one that I know.
Yeah.
So I've always used it.
You were
I grew
brought
up with
up on it.
I was, yeah. So my grandmother used it, my mom uses it, and so now I use it. But yeah, so really simple. Obviously, you just mix up the ingredients and such, and let that set, because obviously you do it on the stove
Yeah,
top.
obviously you put it in when this is nicely chilled.
That's right. So I guess we can do that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Set, I should say.
Yeah. So I'm just going to pick this up and just put a dollop
Nice.
in.
And we have removed the foil, I see, off those
Yes,
now.
that's right, yeah. So you can put that in and just, leave that for a couple of minutes once you have all the filling in, and just let that settle a little bit. And then I put it back into the fridge,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, like
just
you
for a
said.
few minutes, yeah.
Citrus and chocolate actually goes quite well together.
It does, and that's what it is. It's kind of that citrusy and then the sweetness.
Yeah.
And I have some toppings that I put on as
And
well.
we're not just talking about Terry's chocolate oranges.
No,
either.
no. So what kind of toppings have we got that you're going to put on them?
Well, the thing with me, I mean, obviously this is very simple, but I think presentation
Oh,
is everything.
100%.
No matter what you're cooking, no matter what you're baking. So I make my own chocolates a lot, so I've just created some little stars here.
These are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're really simple.
So what do you just do this on wax paper? You kind of
Just
pipe
part-
them out onto wax paper.
That's right, yeah. I mean, I just started off using like a Ziploc bag, and I cut the corner and then pipe
Yeah.
out the chocolate.
Do you put them in the fridge to?
Yeah, you have to do that, just to let them set. But you can do any sort of design that you'd like. So you just put your star. I'm just going to use this one here because these
Nice.
ones are already set.
Yep.
And for a bit of color and a little bit of sweetness, you can use some raspberries and
Raspberries or
strawberries.
strawberries. Perfect.
Lovely. So go ahead, Steve, have a taste.
Me? I get the honours?
Yes, you.
Do you mind? Oh my goodness.
Now we have to
certainly
give you one as well.
Well,
Maybe.
I would love to have one.
Now I broke this one off.
That's okay.
Now I just need my espresso coffee.
Well, we're being given the wrap up. So gotta,
Okay.
What do you think?
oh,
Is good?
lovely.
Absolutely.
Really good. Thank you, Erin.
Well, thank you very much.
And that's it for this edition of
One Chef.
One Critic.
Oh, that's the only thing. It becomes a bit messy.
Then I would just crush it like so.
Not as easy as you thought it would be, is it?
And all we do is just open it, and it never peeled.
Well, that didn't work. That didn't work.
It just was perfect.